Welcome to our sports podcast. I'm Mike and this is Tyler, and today we're going to start off with the NHL Today predictions.
For the scores tonight. First up, we got the Maple Leafs and the Panthers. What do you think?
The Leafs are going to win pretty handily, I think, in this game. The Panthers have been slow lately.
They did get Trocheck back.
They got Trocheck back.
That's three or four lines that can score, I think.
Yeah, but they have been super slow lately.
They haven't won a game in 2019.
They have not won a game in 2019. They looked slow against all the Canadian teams. They can get shots on goal, but they cannot score.
I agree with that. And their goaltending has been pretty shoddy. If they have a hot goalie tonight, they might have a chance, but the Leafs just beat Tampa yesterday. They might be tired, so this one might go either way. I'm taking the Panthers in this one. And for you?
Taking the Leafs.
What's the score prediction?
I'm going to say 5-2, Matthews with 2 goals.
I'm going to go 4-3 Panthers with Huberdeau scoring the overtime winner.
Canadians versus Blue Jackets.
Where is it at? Is it in Philly?
It's in Columbus.
I'm going to go with the Blue Jackets here. Panarin's been on hot streak of late, and Atkinson's been filling that.
I'm going to go with the Canadians. Carey Price is hot.
Is he back?
I think he's still playing out. He should be in this game. And if you think about their offense, they've been quick lately. I watched the game the other day against, the Panthers. And they started off slow, and then boom, they just scored 3 goals back to back. Oh, no, that's the Colorado game. Yeah, it was 0-0 going to the third. And then they're shorthanded. They looked really good against that stellar power play, and they took over the game. And Carey Price has just been so good, especially with Weber in front of him now.
I think Torts is going to get the boys rolling. He's a beauty, and they have a good team. They're
I'm gonna say
pretty deep.
2-1 Montreal.
2-1 Montreal. Going to go 4-1 Columbus. Panarin with 2 assists. All right, up next, Islanders and the Capitals. Capitals are struggling lately, too.
They have been, and I like the way the Islanders have been playing. They've had that whole entire lineup shift that they had since Eberle came back. I think it's really worked for them. They have a nice balance. Eberle's been playing well lately, and Lee's always going to be there for that goal whenever you need him to really get you one. And I will take Islanders over Washington in this situation just because how hot their goalies have been and that line combination that they have.
And it's in Washington, correct?
Yeah, it's in Washington.
Barzell, I think, is going to go on a heater here soon, but what's the Islanders' penalties like? I feel like that Washington power play at home can do some serious damage. Give me 1 second here, I'll pull it up.
Especially with Ovechkin having 33 goals this year.
Right? That first power play unit is lethal.
Nicholas Backstrom has been the greatest, I think, passer in the last...
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite failures to watch. Then they got Kuznetsov, Oshie in the slot, and Carlson on the back end. There's no way you can really compete with that.
And one of the other reasons I think that the Islanders are going to win this game is because Holtby is just coming back from his eye injury today. I think
You got hit with a puck or a stick?
Yeah, he got hit in the eye with a puck.
That might play a factor then. Grace has been good this season too. I'm going to go with Washington though. Ovi with 2. Shouldn't have just gone on terribly. Barzell might keep it close, but...
I'm going to go with Islanders 5-4.
5-4.
With Lee scoring the game winner. All right, so next we have the Hurricanes and the Senators.
I'm going to go with the Sens.
I like the way they've been playing since Shabbat came back and Duchesne came back. But I think Neo Ryder, is playing his first game today.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be...
good insert into the lineup and make a difference right away.
Yeah, I think he's going to be mad that they traded him for who they traded him for and be motivated. I think he's going to have a goal tonight. And I think the Hurricanes are going to win in 4-3. But Duchesne's going to have a goal and an assist.
I got to take Ottawa here. I love watching that team even if they're playing bad. So with Shabbat back in the lineup and Mark Stone and Duchesne are fun to watch. I really hope they get signed there. So they're basically like core of that team right now, and they can draft and develop. It's signing them and keeping them there. I think we'll see Stone with 2 goals. He's going to carry that team out of last place or wherever they are. I think they're near the bottom. Next one, Red Wings Flames.
Okay, so I'm going to try and be unbiased here. I do think the Flames are going to win this game, obviously, because Detroit has been super bad this year. However, I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. I think that Jimmy Howard's been playing super well this year. I think with Mike Green back, the Detroit Red Wings defense has been super good. I think it's only going to be a 3-1 game. It's not going to be too high. I think Johnny's going to have 2 points. Monahan's going to have a point. Lindholm's going to have a goal.
Do you think that top line's going to explode?
I think that top line's going to get what they need.
Especially at home, too. I got the Flames for this game, too. Gaudreau's at 70. He's leading the Flames in goals, assists, and points. And on home ice, he can win those matchups, and he's just dominant. I don't think they have an answer for him, especially with Bernier or Howard in the net. Like, if you're looking at the Wings' top player, it's Larkin with 45 points. It's 25 points less than what Gaudreau has. I don't think they can match up whatsoever. And then if they do happen to shut down Gaudreau's line, you're getting Kachuk going over the boards with whoever he's with, dominating.
All right, so the next game we have is Pittsburgh versus the Arizona Coyotes.
Phoenix.
Phoenix Coyotes. There we go.
I'm going to take the underdog on this one. I'll go with Arizona. I think Biznet's going to get the boys rolling. I think Keller's going to have a good game. And whoever they start tonight, whether it be Kemper, I don't know who their other goalie would be. I think he got sent down, though. So I don't know who the other goalie would be, but I'm going to go with the Coyotes, even though they're at home. Shock the Penguins.
I'm going to go with the Penguins only because Arizona cannot score. And think about it this way. Brad Richardson has the most goals on their team, and it's 11. And he's out now. So all their scoring is gone.
Somebody's got to step up one way or another.
I think it's going to still be close because I think the Coyotes are still a good team. Secretly. They're only one game under 500, so I think that they're still a decent team. I just think the star power on Pittsburgh is just too high. They have Crosby, they have Malkin, they have Getzel, they have Hornquist, they have Malkin, Letang, and Matt Murray in net.
You're forgetting about Kessel, too.
Yeah, fuck Kessel. We're cutting that, by the way. But yeah, I think Pittsburgh's going to win this game, and I think it's going to be a 5-3 score.
I think it'll be 2-1 Arizona. We didn't actually give the score predictions for the Flames, did we?
I said 5-2. Well, I said 3-1.
3-1. We'll go with 5-2 Calgary
Right.
for that game.
And finally, we have the Canucks and the Sabres.
Is Peterson back in tonight or no?
No.
I'm going to go with the Sabres. They snuck a win in Calgary, but got dominated by Edmonton. They've had a 1 or 2 day break here to reflect on that. I think they're going to go into Vancouver and win in overtime.
I have the Canucks in this game. I think the Sabres got extremely lucky in the other game against the Flames. The Flames completely outplayed them. I think Riddick just misplayed some pucks and let in the last 3 goals that were shot. And I think the Canucks are a good, fast team. I think Besser's going to have a goal. He's going to bounce back. And I think that Vancouver's going to win this game. It's still going to be a pretty high-scoring game. I think it's going to be a 4-3 game. And I think
I'm going to go 3-1 Buffalo. Markstrom's been killing it of late, especially against Edmonton the other night. He was just unreal. And their blue line's it's kind of underrated. They do it by committee. They haven't allowed that much. Their offense has been lagging, though, without Pedersen in the lineup. Bo Horvat's gotten an increased role. Maybe he might get a goal here soon. Never know. He's got good hands. All right, next topic. Battle of Alberta. This one's going to get heated.
Okay, so we're going to emphasize this first by saying that we have $20 on this game. And obviously I'm going to say the Flames are going to win this game, but I think it's going to be a really rough and tough game. And I think there's going to be 3 fights in this game.
Oh.
Hamonic
List each of them.
It's going to be, first one's going to be Hamonic versus Nurse.
That's a different combo.
Mm-hmm. And then the second one I think is going to be Hathaway and Ratty. Yeah.
I'd go Kara instead, I think. Ratty's not much of a fighter.
And then Karen is going to fight I'm going to go weird here. It's going to get real weird. I'm going to go with Rasmus Anderson. He never fights, but I'm going to go for it.
How tall is Rasmussen?
I think he is 6'1".
If he's going to be fighting Kara, who's 6'3",
He's going to die.
he's going to get dummied.
Yeah,
Just like
but
Nurse
that's gonna be
dummied
fun.
him back in the prospect tournament a
Yeah,
couple
I'm going
years
to change it. I
ago.
think it's going to be Kachuk.
Kachuk instead. You think
Yeah.
Kachuk's going to get his head beat in? These games in Edmonton are usually pretty low scoring for some reason. I don't get it. And then we go to Calgary and it's like 7-4, 5-6. So I don't know score wise. I hope there is some fights though. Calgary is rolling of late, but if you can't stop McDavid, there's no chance. He might have it. If you guys can shut him down, you win this game easy. If he's rolling and our tough guys are willing to hit, this might be a lot closer. I think it might go to overtime, and I think Calgary's going to win it 5-4. Johnny Hockey and OT.
I think McDavid has been playing so well lately, and he's unstoppable basically.
You see that goal stat with him? He's got like, what was it, 55 goals in the last however games. It's been at a better clip than Obi's had in the same amount of time for him. Nobody's talking about it. He's tied for third in scoring with 29 goals. He might get the Richard if he goes on his late season push like he did last year and the year before that, where he's gotten to the 100 point and then 108 point. Might be what Edmonton needs.
See, I think this matchup is interesting this year because you have Johnny and Connor basically fighting with points here. Like, Johnny currently has 71, McDavid has 70.
Ooh, yeah. That's another
And
topic.
the way it's been going this year, it kind of feels like there's two players here that have been playing so well and they have been kind of unstoppable. Like, Johnny can basically do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think the Flames are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a 3-2 game and a shootout.
I'm going to give you another score guess because I just said the Flames might win an OT. I'm going to go with Edmonton as well, just in another alternate reality here. 3-1. It depends on how they line it up. If they're going to go power versus Gaudreau, they might cancel each other out. I don't really trust Nugent Hopkins against Backlund. And then I would actually throw Draisaitl on that second line center, move Nuge up, see how that might roll. We need more depth, honestly.
One thing I do think will determine this game is who's in net for Calgary. If it's Smith, it might be a little different. If it's Riddick,
It might be a goaltender spot. Koskinen's been playing bad of late too, so I don't know. Both our goalies are kind of crap in Edmonton lately.
so I'm really hoping that Smith's in net tonight against a weaker team. And then you put Riddick in net tomorrow. Don't think that's going to be the case, but let's see how that goes.
For sure, for sure.
All right.
All-star team rosters. I know you've had some bones to pick with this one.
Okay, so just starting with the Atlantic Division team, I think there could be some players that should take over other players. For example, Jeff Skinner. I know he got fan voted, so obviously people are going to think against me here. But I think that Marner should have made it there over him.
Oh, 100%.
Just because the way Marner's been playing, he's basically been helping John Tavares be that same style of player he was in New York. Not saying that Tavares is not a great player, but I think Marner's been setting him up so much. That's why he has the 29 goals.
I think Marner is playing the role of Josh Bailey that was for Tavares last year, but Marner's a better player than him, and I think Marner might actually be better than Tavares. He literally just has to get open, the puck's going to end up on a stick, and vice versa. Marner's so smart that he's going to end up in those areas regardless, or he's going to feed Tavares, who is the net front guy on the power play. He's always around the scoring areas. He's never shooting from the outside. It's just a good combo, but I would put Marner in there. I would leave Tavares out. Let him rest up during that little break. Matthews, I actually don't think should be there either. He's voted in. He's been injured. He's a skilled player I'd like to see, but you want these guys, like, did Braden Point miss it? Or is he on?
Yes.
That's one I'd throw in there. That's criminal as a forward. He's got 30 goals, 30 assists so far. And, well, maybe more than 30 assists, but he's got 30 goals playing on that Tampa team. I don't know. I would have left Tavares and Matthews out and give Marner that spot, and maybe Morgan Riley a spot there.
And there's two other things I don't like about this team. Is that there's no Montreal Canadiens on this team, and the fact that Jimmy Howard is one of the goalies, and I think he's probably going to start too. I would definitely take Freddie Henderson over him. I know he's been hurt as of late, but look at what Jimmy Howard has been doing amazing for Detroit. But look at what Detroit's been doing this year. He hasn't really been
Carrying them. He's just had the numbers.
He's had the numbers, because Detroit, I think, allows like the second most shots in the league.
Yeah.
And
So he's got to be saving
Yeah.
at least 94 or they're going to get blown out. So he looks like he has some good stats, but the wins aren't showing up, and neither it's not coming from his backup either.
So my
in that
solution to
situation.
both of those things is putting Jeff Petrie instead of Keith Yandel
I agree.
and putting Freddie Anderson instead of Jimmy Howard.
Who would you have as a Florida rep then? Barkov?
I would.
That's another problem. There shouldn't be one representative from each team. They should go with the most skilled players that they
Yeah.
want to market skill and hockey all together in these locations like San Jose, where people might not care about it as much. Just having one team with a different jersey, yada, yada, yada. Who cares? Send your most skilled players. Yandel's good, but Riley's been having a Norris-type year. Shabbat, you can't take out. He's been the heart and soul of that Ottawa team. And like you said, that defenseman,
Jeff Petrie.
Petrie, he's been the Canadians' best defenseman while Weber's been out, and he's been playing phenomenal. And Anderson in goal, he's the only... if he doesn't net for the Leafs, I'm skeptical of how far they can go in the playoffs.
So, another thing that I did notice is that Taylor Hall will probably not be playing in this game. He's currently hurt, and there's no timetable for his return before the All-Star game. And the interesting thing for that is who are they going to put in there to replace him? I know they have some skilled players. I know they have Cal Palmieri, who I don't think deserves it, but he plays for that team, and he's been.
I don't think you would put Heischer there yet
Heischer's been hurt most of the year anyway. I don't
as
know
well.
if you put him.
That's why their season's been so crap, I
Mhm.
think.
They've had injuries.
Their goaltending's been pretty brutal. Schneider's done, I think.
Yeah, Schneider's, I think.
Kincaid's
done.
reasonable backup. He's playing in over his head, and when
McKenzie?
Blackwood has been in,
Yeah.
he's been good, but another rookie goalie, you don't know how long you can ride that. I do like Severson on the point, and they
Yeah.
have a decent, I wouldn't say decent, but an underrated decor. I don't know, that team needs more drafting. I don't know if I can see Taylor Hall sticking there if he's looking for a longer playoff success.
And then going on to the Pacific Division, I know that San Jose has been the team that is hosting it, but I don't think there should be 3 representatives from that team. I think players like Joe Pavelski have not been one of the best players in the whole entire league. I don't think he's really a skill player. He just kind of stands in there and shoots.
Yeah, he gets fed from Joe Thornton or whoever he's playing with in these cases, especially on the power play. You have Carlson shooting from the point, or Burns shooting, or what's his face, Joe Thornton setting you up. Get in front of the net and you're going to get points. Like, it's nothing. I wouldn't have him in there.
So I wouldn't have him in there. I would not have... I like Carlson and I like Burns, but one of them shouldn't be on there because Mark Giordano is having a Norris-type season, has more points than Carlson, has better plus-minus than Carlson. I think he's been the better overall defenseman over him. But
And he carries his team, I
Mhm.
think. Like, he's the most influential defender and maybe player on the Flames, as opposed to Carlson. If he wasn't there, I think the Sharks would still be a top Pacific team and in the playoffs. Burns carries enough that load. Mark-Edward Vlasic isn't having as good of a season, but he hasn't been playing as much. So, I think Giordano is more crucial to his team's success, and he's having an unreal year lately. He should be in there, I agree.
And the fact that Arizona even has somebody on this team, they're a well-rounded team, but they don't have that star that I think should be on there like Clayton Keller. I think for Joe Pavelski and Clayton Keller, I think there have been better players this year that have been better. Players like Brock Besser, there's been Monahan, basically the top 4 in Calgary could have cases to be on this team.
You could even throw Marchessault from Vegas in there.
You could throw Marchessault, you could throw Carlson, you can...
There's a lot of more deserving players that they should have spread out. If you're gonna take 3 from one team, you should spread out 2 from each team. Like, I'm excited to watch McDavid and Draisaitl play on the same line, whichever defenseman they get. Doughty deserves to be there. It's been a rock for the LA. But yeah, the puzzling choices. I don't know. I wouldn't have one from each team again, and maybe add more players and just rotate for the. I don't know, to make more spots so there's not as much snubs. These players probably don't care as much. They'll enjoy the vacation for 2 days, in my opinion. What's the Central looking like?
And the Central, I don't have a lot of disagreements with this team. I would put Ben Bishop instead of Dubnyk, personally, because I think he's been so good for the Dallas Stars this year, and he's kind of been keeping them in it. And I would take Miro Heiskanen, and I would change him for Suter, just so you could have that Minnesota-Dallas switch. And personally, I do like this lineup a lot. I think Blake Wheeler could definitely be replaced by somebody, maybe like a Zach Parise type.
potentially, and then you wouldn't even have to throw Suter or Dubnyk in there.
Yeah.
You could leave Heiskanen, who's been probably Dallas's best defenseman. I love Klingberg, but Heiskanen's been playing unreal, and he carried the load while basically the entire Dallas defense was out with injury.
And I'm glad that Landeskog made it. I think he deserves it. He's a very underrated player.
I think so as the third guy on that line.
Yeah, as the third guy on the line, he's still producing.
Yeah, and I guess I would say that too, because you have McKinnon, he's streaking down the left half wall most of the time, and you got Rantanen on the other side. Somebody's got to be in front of the net, tipping, directing traffic of the puck to each side to those snipers. And he plays an integral role, and he's captain of a good team. They have lost 10 in a row, or whatever it is, 10 in the last 12, whatever it is, but he's underrated. He deserves this chance. The All-Star game is, it's more of a fan thing, in my opinion. We shouldn't get too worked up, but puzzling choices. All right, so the next topic, we're going to go on to the trade deadline strategy for the Alberta, and let's add the other Canadian teams. How about? All right, so let's start with Toronto. What do they need to add or sell?
If I'm Toronto, I think I'm looking for another defenseman.
Right side or left?
Left-sided.
Left side.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you push out? So you got Riley, Gardner, Dermott.
I would probably push out Dermott at this point.
Really?
He's too raw to me, and Gardner and Riley have already been these players who have been.
Although they've been booing Gardner like crazy, I don't know if they like him.
He doesn't deserve it. Like other people in the locker room have said, he's one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, and if you do get rid of that player, you're more than likely going to be asking for somebody of the same type eventually, and you're going to regret trading him away. I like Dermott, and I think Babcock does too, but he's too much of a veteran coach. He wants an older guy that he can trust, and who knows. Right side, I would actually improve the right side a bit. You got Zaitsev, who's 3 assists in 47 games.
Yeah,
That's been playing terrible. His contract's terrible. I think they'll try to move on from that, whether that be in the summer or at the deadline. You've got Hainsey playing with Riley. I don't know if that's optimal for playoffs.
Yeah.
If you're going against Tampa or Boston, you don't want them. Strategically, they'll attack Hainsey's side. They'll go down that wall every time, make him back up, and have more room going in, and make Riley take the outside guy.
See, at this point, I would say to Toronto, just don't do anything.
Really?
Because your team is pretty good the way it is.
And they're young enough that they can carry this on.
Yeah, and who are you going to trade?
Yeah, and who's going to try to make you better? Right? And they got what? Who's their third-rate D? Ozhiganov?
Yeah.
You could upgrade the depth defenseman there, but I'd just stay the course. You guys are going to match up with Boston and Tampa in round 1 again, which isn't optimal at all. It's most likely going to be Boston if Tampa keeps up their current pace. I don't know. Maybe get a tougher guy to combat them, or I would try to bump Hainsey down a bit and Ozhiganov out of the lineup, but who knows? That right side's a little iffy. I don't know if I trust it, but they can score at will.
See, what I would do is not trade anybody and then go hard for Doughty this summer.
He's signed.
I know. We'd go for a trade with him.
Who would you send there, though? Nylander?
I would definitely trade Nylander.
I would, too, I think. They got rich assets, and they can call up some people from the farm. They got good players, good scouting.
Think about it. For the first quarter of the year, they didn't have Nylander, and they still won games. They still are pretty good without him, so do they really need him?
And then if you think, defensively wise, they got Rasmus Sandin in the AHL. What's his face? Who am I thinking of? Liljegren. He's going to be coming up soon. They got some defensive prospects that are going to push Gardner out of the lineup or probably into free agency. He's not coming back. And some older guys. They'll get better as the thing goes. I agree. They should just stay the course and ride out the season, see what they can do with their natural talent. I wouldn't do too much. Maybe upgrade the right side a bit for a rental, but don't give up anybody of value and just let your skill take you from here. They're good enough to maybe go deep. That first round matchup's going to be crucial, though. They got to get over Boston, and they have to get over Tampa, and it might be safe sailing, but we'll see from there. Anything to add?
No, I think I'm okay there.
Ottawa, who are they selling? Who are they signing?
I think Ottawa, if they can't sign Mark Stone by then, I think they might look for a trade for him.
What do you think the return would be?
If you're asking for Mike Stone, I think you're going to ask for a pretty decent player, like maybe a Nylander type player.
Like term coming back?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you'd have to be signed to a contract with the team he's getting traded to? I wouldn't give him Nylander for a rental.
I wouldn't either, but I'm just saying like a type player. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
Toronto. And maybe a first rounder. That's what I think they're looking
I
for.
think he'll go for a first round prospect too.
Yeah.
I don't know. What team would you think he should go to? He might look good in San Jose if they're willing to trade their first and prospects.
If you could do Hurdle and a first round pick with maybe a prospect, that would not be a bad trade for both sides. I know they just made a trade with each other, but that would also help it because they had made that trade in the past. They would be willing to make another one.
Would Calgary give up anything, do you think? You guys have some prospects that you could give up in a first, I'm assuming, which would be, do you even have the first?
No,
was it used last
I think we traded it.
Well, that one was used for Dobson for New York. But
Oh,
did you
yeah.
give up the first the next year too?
I don't actually remember. I'll know by the next podcast.
I don't know. Calgary might be an interesting fit for Stone too.
Would be.
I'm just trying to think.
Bennett, a first.
I don't think Winnipeg can handle it. Maybe Vegas. They might have the cap space.
Max Pass ready for him would be a bad trade.
That wouldn't be bad. But then again, you have somebody return that's scoring well. I don't know. It's an iffy situation. I hope they sign him. I think they can get back on track quickly if their owner quits being a dumbass and just pays the players and wants the team to get better by paying them. Like, I'm sure Duchesne wouldn't mind staying there. He's made some close bonds with their young players like Jake Batherson, Colin White, and whatnot. They might have a chance to be good in a year or two here, but they don't have their first this year. So I think they might trade one of those three players, the three players would be Stone, Duchesne, Dzingel. I'm thinking they're trying to get a first back for at least one of them.
Yeah.
They need to recuperate that value somehow. And maybe Colorado dangles that pick back to them. I doubt they will because that's a controlled asset for how many years, and it's probably going to be a top 5 pick, honestly. So who knows? It's an interesting one. I think ultimately they'll sign Duchesne, let Stone walk. Or maybe Stone comes back. It's all up if he wants to be there. I think Dzingel's gone, though, for sure.
Yeah, I think you got to trade Dzingel too. I think Pittsburgh would be a good team for them.
Mm-hmm. Especially because Broussard wants out, or they want to get Broussard out of there for another third-line center.
Does Ottawa really want Broussard back?
No, but if they're willing to give up something to get rid of him, potentially, if they want to give up a first or a prospect, I know Ottawa's willing to take that on, or somebody that's good with cheap cap hit, right? And then what else?
We have Edmonton.
I don't know. I want Chiarelli fired as much as the next guy, but if we're tied for the second wild card right now. And, like, do you push for it and get matched up with? Well, who's first in the West? Is it Calgary or Winnipeg?
It's Calgary and then Winnipeg.
Do you think it's sustainable for the rest of the season, like stay like that?
I personally don't. I know Calgary's playing super well, but I think they might drop to the 5th seed. Only because I don't think Reddick is consistent enough to keep it going. But if he can, I think we're one of the best teams in the league. But if he can't, doesn't matter.
Oh, I really want that second wild card versus the first in the West. That would be an insane first round playoff series. I'm so torn between because Treller's job is safe if he makes the playoffs. I don't want that to happen, so I would want to sell some assets off. But who's going to take Lucic or Russell or any of our cap problems? Realistically, at the deadline, they won't. They all have term. I wouldn't trade anything though either until we see where we're at deadline. Like, I want to see these next few games once we get Clefbaum back, see where we're at. If we're in second wild card or battling for it, maybe make a small trade, but I wouldn't give up our first or pull URV. It's too desperate. I would just try to use our talent and climb in because you got Anaheim. They just won their first game after 12 losses straight. I think they might fall out of it. I don't trust Gibson. Well, Gibson's good, but I don't think he can sustain carrying them like this throughout the season. I think they're hurt and trading away and selling off assets. And then who else are they battling? Minnesota. Dumba's coming back. I don't really believe in their offensive ceiling. Dubnik's been having a brutal year. They just made a horrible trade, in my opinion, for Victor Rask. That might be one that might fall out. And then you got St. Louis climbing back. So I'd wait until people get healthy in return. Maybe get a small asset back for a playoff run, but I don't know. I wouldn't go for anybody big.
If you were to trade your first round pick in priority, who would you trade him for?
I want some young player with term and control. And ideally, I want a right-handed shot. I think that's more important than people are thinking. Right now, Yamamoto, he's fringe prospect. Well, not fringe, but he's a prospect. With like our power play, think of it like this: like you got Nuge on the left side, strong hand. He's not the best sniper, but he's doing well there. You got McDavid and Draisaitl near the net in that right half wall feeding the puck. I want a right-handed sniper over there, but I don't know who. I'd like Stone, but I want him to be signed and committed. But I don't know what other target there'd be, honestly.
I mean, I like Stone as a fit for them just because they need that goal scoring production and somebody who McDavid can pass the buck to.
Stone's a beast defensively, and he can cover in the D zone.
And, I mean, it's a solid pickup. He might sign because he likes playing with Draisaitl and McDavid.
Could be a potential fit.
It's hard to say no to that line.
It's just, I don't know, money's greedy. We don't necessarily have the cap space unless we make some deals this offseason. I don't think the GM's in the right place to make the trade. I don't think his priorities aren't straight for the long-term future, which we need to focus on now that we've royally screwed up our cap situation. I'm not too sure.
Okay, so the next team we will go with is Montreal.
Okay.
Honestly, I think they should buy. I don't think they should sell.
Even though Bergevin is saying that they're selling?
I don't buy that.
You don't buy it? He also said he wasn't trading Subban, to be fair, or Galchenyuk, and he ended up doing it.
That's true.
I think he's going to be smarter than Shirley and wait
Yeah.
till the deadline and see, we could add a guy, throw him in there for a pick or a prospect or
Well,
something.
they have a lot of young players after that kind of changeover with Galchenyuk and Domi and Pacioretty. And
You got Drouin still there. And you got Suzuki coming up. That I think they got a first in that deal too. So I don't know. Montreal's in a good spot. They should just roll with it. And Claude Julien's got them playing well.
I wouldn't sell. I would buy if anything. I don't really know who they could trade. They could trade Tatar. I could see some decent comeback for that, but other than that, I don't really see them selling anybody.
Yeah, or buying really. I think they're just gonna try to get there with what they have, which is good for them. They're showing progress. Kotkaniemi too has been pretty good for an 18-year-old. He's pretty damn young. Vancouver. They're only a couple of points behind Edmonton, and they're without Pedersen right now, so I don't know.
This is an interesting team to me. I don't think they should really go for anything big, obviously. If you can, maybe trade a Granlund or a Berchi. Maybe get some sort of comeback for that. But, there's nothing really big you can do. Trade your Branson, maybe, if you wanted to.
I think there'd be a buyer for that defensive defenseman.
Probably
There
not.
usually is with the playoffs, though, too. You never know. What's his cap like? What's his... How many years left?
I think he just signed a new 4 years.
So he has term. I
Yeah.
don't know who'd take him on for that.
I mean, you could trade Edler. It's not a bad deal, but I like him personally.
Look at it's priorities for them, too. Do they want to try to run at Jack Hughes? I don't know if they'll even lose to Pedersen. They won't lose as much as they think they want to drop back. And with how it's been working with them tanking, I don't know if they even should try. They might get lucky if they just try to win.
I can see them trading a player like Edler to a team like Nashville, a team like Pittsburgh, a team like one of those.
Needing extra defensive depth to keep going.
That
Pittsburgh might be interesting, too.
You could bring somebody down. You could bring a Tanner Pearson, or you could bring
Derek Brassard. No.
Derek Brassard down.
I don't know. Vancouver's interesting. It's kind of in the situation as Montreal. They can pick where they want to go with this, or they can just stay the course and see what happens.
Next team we have
Calgary.
is the Calgary Flames, which I think they shouldn't do anything. Don't really break anything, or don't really try and break up any chemistry. Stay the course. If anything, get a backup goalie if you need to. Maybe try and trade Smith. But at this point, I wouldn't do anything big. Don't trade Brody like people say they are. Don't do that. Keep everything together. Don't do anything.
I agree with that. I think better backup goalie than Smith might be a good add to make, but you can really choose there. And maybe a depth defenseman, I'd add. Just if Shillington and, say, Anderson, or where's Mike Stone right now? Is he injured?
I don't really know. He's just kind of been gone.
I think he's been a blood clot. That's what I remember seeing. But if those two defensemen start having rookie growing pains in the playoffs, get a defensive defenseman, third pair, cheap, somebody that can hold down the fort and sub in and be fine. It shouldn't add too much.
Yeah,
you should just get some minor pieces. I'm pretty sure Craig Conroy is actually on Oilers now, Bob Stauffer, and that's what he was saying. They're not going to go for the big move. Look at the Capitals. They went after Shattenkirk and they shit the bed. Second round. Then they added Michael Kempny the next year and it solidified their blue line, and they won the cup. I think the Flames should go in that avenue.
Yeah,
Who do we have next?
Winnipeg is the last team.
Is that the last team?
I think so.
Yeah.
So Winnipeg again. Wouldn't do anything.
I
Maybe
don't know.
trade Buffalo. I would trade Buffalo. See what you can get for him.
Did they give up their first last year for
No.
Stastny?
No, I don't think so. I think they gave up a second.
I might give up the first this year. But they're going to be at the top of the standings. I'd give up that first. They got to the third round last year and then ran into a hot Vegas team. I think they go deep again. I think they beat Nashville easily. And I think this is the year to go for it. Honestly, because you have to resign Kyle Connor, line A next year. You're going to have to ship somebody like either Bufflin or Wheeler out who are both in their early 30s now. They're getting older. They're going to start slowing down. I think they should go for it. They need like a middle six center, or middle six winger, maybe some defensive depth. Their defense is looking pretty good, but they're young again, so maybe a veteran piece to calm them down if they need to in the playoffs. I think they should trade that first and see what's out there. Maybe for a Stone, maybe for a Duchesne, somebody of not too high of a cap hit, but damn good player. Maybe Ryan DeZingle.
Here's
got
what I
18
think. This is
goals.
gonna be a hot take. I think they should go for it all. And if St. Louis offers Tarasenko out there, you go for Tarasenko. I think you have to.
Even if it complicates the cap situation next year.
Yeah,
signing
you gotta
people.
go for it. You gotta go for Tarasenko at this point because they need that scorer. They
Would
have-
you trade back prospects or would you do like a Wheeler and some prospects?
I would.
I don't know if I'd trade your captain there. I don't think they will either.
No, I think if you're going to, I would try and trade a Trouba over there. They need a defenseman, and it's a good bite
Another
for
righty
them.
though.
Yeah.
Petrangelo, Pareko. They might want a lefty more so. They got Evanson on the left side and Vince Dunn. They actually have a decent decor. It's just their goalie has been shoddy. I don't know. St. Louis can turn it around pretty quick.
I would trade a Kyle Connor for a Tarasenko.
I would go the opposite. Let me look at Winnipeg stats because I'm in a debate between Ehlers and Connor. I don't know who I'd keep. Ehlers is smaller, but he's quicker. But Connor's been fitting in better with those top two centers a lot more. I don't know who I would go for, honestly.
I honestly would keep Ehlers in that situation
Yeah.
and trade Connor. if
Connor
you
is
can.
younger though.
That is true.
I don't know what I would do. Like Kyle Connor's got 37 points in 47 games, which isn't. It's actually he's been playing with Wheeler and Scheifele, so he's been getting
Yeah.
carried a bit. Those two are actually at 60 and 58 points respectively. They're here carrying the team. Liney's got 25 goals, 9 assists. Whatnot. Ehlers has 27 points in 40 games, so he's got roughly 10 points less while playing with lesser line mates. Even though Liney and what's his face, Brian Little ain't no slouches.
Wait, well, hold on.
I don't know what I do.
has
there.
9 assists.
Yeah, and he scored 18 goals in the month of November and had 1 assist. So it would have been, he would have had 7 and 9. It would have been 16 points, other than the November.
So that's an issue.
Yeah, he's not playing very well.
If you're Patrick Laine, you got to learn how to pass better. I know I'm kind of calling him out right now, but you got to learn to pass and get those assists. That makes you a more complete player. You can't just be a player who's known for goal scoring. Like Ovechkin, he used to be like that too. He used to score a bunch of goals and not have assists, but now he's pretty balanced. He's got 30-30, I think, right now.
Mm-hmm. Blake Wheeler, actually, look at this. He's got a 6.7 shooting percentage, but he's got 60 points, 9 goals. If he starts scoring, this team's going to get fucked. They're going to be unreal, and they're going to keep going and be even more of a tank. And he might even heat up for playoffs. As for that Tarasenko trade, yeah, you're right. One of those two players maybe send him for Tarasenko and give him like a Vesalainen or another prospect and just load up. Go for it this year, and you'll have another piece for next year. It depends if St. Louis is selling Tarasenko for the right price.
Honestly, I don't think they should, but if they do, you got to go for it.
Yeah, I agree there too. Maybe add a defensive defenseman or maybe a puck mover. But their defense is looking good. Maybe Brossoit's been doing good in backup goalie too. I don't think I'd change much other than upgrading that center spot. All right, that's it for the NHL portion as of right now. We're going to go to an NFL preview, the NFC and the AFC championship matchups. All right, so you're more of the football guy more so than me. Kick it off and I'll comment.
Okay, so the two games we have here is the Chiefs and the Saints, and the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, so you meant the Rams first.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
It's fine. First time podcast.
So me. We'll just cut that and I'll say it again. It's going to be the LA Rams against the New Orleans Saints and the New England Patriots versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And in that first game, that's going to be at 3:05 on Sunday, who would you have?
You got to go Rams. They got Goff at quarterback, I think, and he's pretty damn good, fantasy-wise and just real life. But you also got the running power from Todd Gurley and who's their
CJ
fullback?
Anderson.
You got two running options there that can dominate the field and throwing. And their defense led by Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is just too much to stop. I think they're winning it all this year.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with the Saints. I have not seen a quarterback be so consistent in his career other than Tom Brady than Drew Brees.
Correct, yeah, I
He's
agree.
been so consistent. He's got the targeted Michael Thomas on the side there. He can throw bombs, and you literally could just throw to him all night, and he's going to catch you balls. And not to mention they have Ingram and Kamara on the back.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat.
And then on the other side, you have Kansas City and New England. Who you got?
I love Mahomes, but I got to go Brady. He's got a legacy. He's gotten his team to that final consistently. I just don't know if he'll pull it off because of that defense in the final, but you can't doubt Brady at this point. He's the greatest quarterback of all time.
I'm going to go with Kansas City here. I do like Mahomes' offense way too much. And New England's defense has been a liability all year. And heck, last year with Alex Smith, the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 1 beat New England. Not only beat them, destroyed them because of that defense. That defense is pretty shoddy right now. And I would take Mahomes and his MVP season all day.
Who's their running back?
They have Hill currently as their running back because
Kareem Hunt. We're not going to comment on that.
yeah,
but
Kareem Hunt.
if they can keep Mahomes out of the air with the throwing, do you think their run game can get past the defense of the Patriots? I don't know if it can. And if it's a quarterback duel, I think Brady wins that all the time. He's got the experience and he's got the repertoire for it. I don't know much about football, but those are my two teams. And if they meet the Rams and the Patriots in the final, I'm taking the Rams again. They're just too deep at every position. I think they're winning it all this year. They've been consistently the best team in the NFL throughout the whole season.
Okay.
And next we got the MLB free agency.
Basically, we're just going to talk about where Manny Machado and Bryce Harper we think they're going to go. I'm going to start with Manny Machado here. I think Manny Machado is going to go to the New York Yankees. It's going to be a shock. I think not a lot of people are going to be very happy because they're reloading again. But I think that's where he's going to go. And I think that's where everything's going to happen here. I'm going to let you take it away because I'm currently getting a phone call, so I'll let you take it away.
Alrighty. For Machado, right now I'm on MLB.com, and the latest free agency rumors for him would look like it's New York, potentially, or let me check here. White Sox, Yankees, the Phillies. I think the Phillies are an up-and-coming team, and I think the Phillies might get one of these two. I don't think they'll get both, but I think I could see Machado going to the Yankees. He's expressed the desire to be going there, and they're retooling. They're going to be scary for years, and the Yankees can't afford him. Harper, on the other hand, I think he's going to go to Philly, honestly, or maybe the Dodgers. He's going to go to somewhere that has a good team up and coming, and he's going to get freaking paid.
I think Bryce Harper is also going to go to the Phillies. And I think that the Phillies are actually going to get both of Bryce Harper and Mike Trout in 2021.
Ooh, Trout's coming up too.
I think that's going to be what happens. I think that's what they're saving their money for. That's why they're not going for both Machado and Harper. They'll just get one.
And then go for Trout in 2021.
And then go for Trout in 2021.
It's a shame Trout's been in the Angels organization for that long.
Yeah,
and he's not going to stay there. He's going to go to somewhere that's ready and loaded for playoffs. He's not going to settle for another rebuilding team. Even though the Angels do look like they're on the upswing of Ohtani and these other prospects, and I think they just signed another pitcher, but still, I wouldn't stay there. All right.
Finally,
Any other questions? So, who's winning the cup?
I think Tampa's gonna win it. I think their team is just so balanced and so good that you can't really do anything. Vasilevsky, the only problem they had in that final series a couple years ago was that Ben Bishop was struggling in that. And I think now that they have Vasilevsky as that goalie for the future, I think they're gonna win it.
I'd agree with that too. I wanted to say Winnipeg, but it depends what they add. I think they can. I think they're going to go to the final, but Tampa's just got everything everywhere. They've got depth, and even when they end up trading some of these guys next year, the year after, they got prospects up the ass coming in to fill in those roles. They're going to get one here soon. Same with Winnipeg. They're going to be on. They're going to be ready. It's going to be a year or two here. Those teams. I'm going to go with Tampa as well, as long as they don't have like a little miscue here along the way. They've been rolling for pretty long. Hopefully, they face Boston instead of Toronto when it comes to the second round matchup. I think they're winning the first round no matter what. But if Toronto gets past Boston, it might be a scoring duel, and Toronto could win that. But if they tighten it up enough, I think they can go all the way. I don't think the Metro's getting out this year. For the West, Winnipeg and Calgary, and I think I'd take Vegas over San Jose too. Vegas has a good team, and they're going for it now. But I think it'll be Calgary versus Winnipeg on the other side. Tampa's winning it for me, though.
Okay.
Underrated player that you enjoy from not your favorite team?
I think I've liked the Zach Parise kind of new player that he's become. I think he's become a lot more calm when he's on the ice and a lot more poised and a lot more goals, obviously. He's going to score. But I like his leadership for this Wild team, and I think he is going to lead them to a playoff spot.
Who'd that kick out then? You think Edmonton's not making it?
No.
Killing me here. For me, it'd be Braden Point. He complements Kucherov and Stamkos, or even Johnson, Gord very well. He's severely underrated. He might be the driving force in that playoff run if the teams are focusing on Kucherov and Stamkos. All right. Any other questions you want to ask?
No, I think I'm okay. So we're going to try and do this podcast every Friday. Maybe post it on Sunday, maybe post it on Saturday. I don't really know yet. We're still figuring out that stuff. But yeah, thank you for listening to our first podcast / watching. And see ya.
Adios.